Yes, sir. Pardon me? No, sir. I have a degree in ag business from Arkansas State University in Jonesboro. Yes, sir.
Rick, I've got a question, and it's kind of a soapbox thing with me. But you say that we're going to grow ourselves out of the recession. I agree that growth is the only way we're going to get the national debt down. But what's happening in this country right now is the idiots in Washington and at the State House and even at the county level are spending money like drunk sailors. I was in the Coast Guard, so I can say that. But you know, a young man like sitting next to me here, he's going to be living in a third world country when he gets to be my age, if not sooner. And we need people to go to Washington and say that you have to run Washington like we run Arkansas to some degree. We have to have a balanced budget. Now, I realize we can't do that overnight. It's going to take years. But do we have your assurance that when it is you get to Washington, that you will do everything in your power to get the budget balanced and without raising taxes ridiculously?
Absolutely.
To do that now, you say that, but I'm going to hold you to it, okay? To do that, we have to make hard choices. We can't be everything to everybody. There's a lot of people out of work. You know, we can't have lifetime unemployment benefits like we do now.
Right.
Are you prepared to make hard choices like that to cut the amount of money the government's giving you?
My concern is the 1st District of Arkansas. I'm not going to Washington to try and win a popularity contest in Washington. I'm more concerned about what's going on here in the 1st District. I want to tell you this, that back during the Obama-McCain campaign, they squared off and Obama says, well, you want to take a hatchet where we need to use a scalpel. Folks, I want to take a chainsaw. That's what I want to do. We got to make some cuts and we got to make some unpopular decisions, but if we're going to save our country, we have to make some big, deep cuts, and we have to do it soon, or our kids, my 4-year-old son and my 2-year-old daughter, your kids and your grandchildren will never see the light of day when we're talking about this national debt. So yes, sir, you have my assurance. Yes, ma'am.
I meant to ask Priscilla this too. How do y'all feel about the flat tax?
I think the flat tax is a good idea, provided we don't add that to our income tax under the 16th Amendment.
Get rid of income tax.
We get rid of the income
in the
tax.
payroll and all
flat
that,
tax
have
makes
flat
total
tax.
sense.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I got a question for Rick.
Yes, sir.
Rick, I have 2 questions. Number one, your stand on the Second Amendment. While we all understand it's our right, and as we see things moving forward, I want to know what you're going to do to protect our Second Amendment right. And the second question is about lobbyists and monies from lobbyists. And that's a 2-part question. How much money have you raised to date? Because I know how tough it is raising money in a congressional race in the 1st Congressional District.
We have raised today somewhere in the neighborhood of $210,000 right now, which, listen, I'm going to tell you, because of people like Stubby and because of people like Warren Dupuy, who is my campaign chairman, and because of those folks, Susan Mishka, and those kind of individuals, they have plowed the ground to make it possible for guys like me to engage grassroots folks and raise the kind of money that we've raised. We've done it all here in the state of Arkansas. I'm going to say 90% of our money has come out of the 1st District of Arkansas. So we're proud of the money that we've raised at this point. Lobbyists are a big issue in Washington. I've got, maybe it's a naive idea, but I've got an idea that I think would work to address lobbyists, and that is making lawmakers telecommute as often as possible. It's awfully hard to engage 535 members of Congress and Senate when they're all spread out over their district. And we've got the technology to do that, and it would render the lobbyists almost neutral. So, like I said, I may be tilting the windmills on that. Maybe I'm a lone voice in the wilderness. Like I said, I'm not going to Washington to be a Washington insider and win popularity contests. Second Amendment, absolutely for the Second Amendment. I'm a member of the NRA. I was brought up to respect weapons and handguns, firearms. I'm a veteran, so obviously the Second Amendment is something that I'm going to stand strong for. So,
where do you come down on term limits for national office?
term limits, I believe, are best imposed by the voters. I think the problem that we have is that we tend to get career-oriented politicians that somehow find a way to get reelected. So I'm open to suggestions on term limits.
Well, when I say term limits, I'm talking about maybe a couple of terms.
Well, I don't think a couple of terms is enough to find the bathroom in Washington.
You're either going to do it or you're not.
Right. I think that we need, if we're going to impose term limits like we've done here in Arkansas, I don't think 3 terms like we have here in Arkansas is enough for those legislators to be effective. in the State House, and I think that the same would apply in Washington. I think we need to be a little more reasonable in the application of term limits if we apply term limits, but I'm first and foremost a believer in term limits that are voter applied. Yes, ma'am.
Where do you stand on limiting the retirement that Congress members and senators get? I don't think it's fair that they should get their salary for life.
I agree with that.
And I have to work more than 25, 30 years before I can even qualify for retirement.
Absolutely. My dad was a career military man, served 24 years, earned his retirement, and then did it again, earned his retirement after, and he worked for it. It wasn't an entitlement that because he was elected to a particular office that he got it. So I think that's where a lot of the disdain that we have for Washington lies in the compensation and the benefits and all the things. They don't pay Social Security, those kinds of things. Listen, if Social Security is good enough for us, it's good enough for them.